Hi, guys. Hi, Sasha. Thank you for joining me today.
You're welcome. I'm glad to be here.
So, Sasha's not new to online pet health. It's really great to have you back with us again, to be learning from you again, and to be touching base on everything that you've been up to, because it has been a while since we've had you lecturing for us and teaching in the business basics and on the podcast. So, it's going to be really great to touch base again today. So, for those of you that are joining us live, welcome. We're going to be chatting today about GoGoCharlie. And I'm really excited about that. Like I say, it's good to touch base again and to see what you've been up to in the last while. So, Sasha, while we wait for people to come online with us, will you tell us a little bit more about yourself and what you do and who you are?
Yes, my name's Sasha Foster. I'm a physio based in Colorado in the United States. My clinical practice is at Colorado State University's Veterinary Teaching Hospital. And in that capacity, my job was to build the human model of rehab inside a veterinary teaching hospital. That happened about 10 years ago. And prior to that, I was in private practice. When I started in private practice in 2008, gosh, you guys, I came from a family of small business owners, and everyone in my family owned small businesses. And it all seems so romantic from the outside to own your own business, but you have no freedom and you work all the time and it's very stressful. So when I knew it was time to start my business, I went out and found a business coach and I signed up for Robert Kiyosaki's Choose to Be Rich program. I signed up for the state's business program. I basically went for resources. And it was a game changer for me. It was a game changer for the full trajectory of my life as a canine physio, and also for my ability to build business in a different way than my family had done.
That's incredible to hear you say that and speak about that, because I think when we think about as people with no experience owning their own business, we want to create a business that allows us to have freedom, which you say no, and that means we don't have to work all the time. But that isn't what ends up happening, and it can be very, very difficult when that kind of disillusionment happens and we end up maybe 2 or 3 years down the line and we're just completely burnt out and we have no idea what we're doing. It is hard to work for yourself. So what were some of the things from that were like that changed the way that you approached creating your own business? I know that's off subject a little bit, but we'll come back to GoGoCharlie. I just think that it's such an important thing to speak about.
Yeah, I'm really passionate about it too, because as I watch in my part of the country, there's a lot of rehab clinics that have closed because they couldn't meet financial projections that they needed to meet. So we've gone from more than 20 in my area to less than 10 in my area. And that's really sad to watch. So I am passionate about how do we build profitable businesses in the canine rehab world. For me, there were a couple of important game changers that people might consider. The first one is I went and did the personality profiles that tell you what your deficits actually are. So there's a lot of personality profiles out there that say, you're a thinker, or you're an emotional person, or you're a collaborator, you like to work independently. There's nothing wrong with that. That's important information. But what changed it for me was the Wilson personality profile that said I was too fiercely independent, and that people with that personality trait, if we do not build teams of people around us, we're likely to be visionary but fail. So when I learned that about myself, the very first thing I did was went out and I built a team of people. I built a business team. A business team includes your accountant, a CPA, attorneys, business people, but also a team of mentors, people who would say to me, Sash, that is not a good idea. Or people who would say to me, well, maybe that's a good idea. But people who were really invested in telling me the truth about the choices I was making. So that was the first thing, is learning about myself at a really granular level so I could not change who I am. I can't change who I am, but I could bolster my ability to find success by filling in what I didn't have. And the second thing was building a business plan. I know we all feel, gosh, building a business plan, it just feels arduous and uncomfortable, and it's not easy building a business plan. But for me, it was a game changer because my business coach made me sit down and build a business plan, not for 5 years or 10 years, but for 20 years. And what happened when I did that is it made me build the infrastructure for where I want my business to be today, including GoGoCharlie. GoGoCharlie was thought of, gosh, back in 2008.
Wow.
The technology didn't exist for me to even build it then. So I brought my book. So some of y'all might have seen, right, online at Shop, I have that original home exercise book.
Yeah.
That was an early iteration of what became GoGoCharlie. And I only would have had the ability to do that had I built a 20-year business plan. So those were the two for me that were my game changers.
I think that's really incredible. I think what I'd love to comment on with the first point of finding out where your weaknesses are is that it's so easy for us to think of weaknesses as weaknesses, but it isn't. If we shift our perspective, it isn't a weakness. It is the reality around which we're, this is a part of our reality. And how can we match that, like you say, to achieve success? So I love knowing what all the things are that could go wrong and what my weaknesses are, because it's the only way to meet them and to prevent those things from happening, to be as prepared as possible. So I really love that. And a 20-year business plan, wow. How do you have you like pivoted in that? Because that's something that a lot of people speak about, is if you might be at the beginning of the journey and have no idea where you want to be. And you might start out on that journey and then go, wait, this isn't what I want to do. Have you needed to kind of shift a little bit to find what was right for you? Or were you able to actually create a plan from the beginning that was right for you?
No, it definitely, there's iterations, right? A business plan is a living document. It's not written in stone. And it actually should really be updated when you're starting, probably every year. And then as you gain traction, updating it every 2 years is probably a good choice. For me, there were a couple of pivot points in my business where I had to make hard shifts within my business plan. One was when I had the opportunity to go to university. I had been in private practice. I had a business partner. We owned 3 clinics. It was really, really difficult. And then the university called and said, we want to start a rehab department. So initially that fit in with my business model. My business contracted with the university. But a year later, the university said, you did such a great job. We're going to bring it in-house. So that forced me to make a decision. Was I going to stay in my private practice, or was I going to shift my clinical practice to university? And shifting to university was not in my business plan. Y'all, 0% was going to university in my business plan. But when I sat down and really felt the heart of the matter, right? Which is what is important about your own origin stories, is what makes your heart happy. Yes, there's business plans. Yes, there's finances. But if it doesn't have soul, it's just going to be hard work. So for me, what joining university did is it opened up this world where I got to see some of the hardest cases in the world every day of my life. I had the opportunity to build a new team, which is one of my strengths, right, from my original business plan. And I got to work with teams of veterinary specialists. I mean, y'all, if I have a dog come in that's had bilateral TPLOs and it ends up having a neurolocalization to a caudal lumbar spine, I just walk the dog down the hall to neurology for a full neuro workup, right? For me, that's a dream place to be. So at that pivot point, I shifted my clinical practice to university. I took all my intellectual property, which I had intellectual property because of my business plan, and I moved that into the business canine rehab shop. And that's where you all go now to buy the protocols books, to buy hard copies of canine home exercises, to buy my older books. So I wasn't expecting that, but I shifted within my business plan for that opportunity.
Oh, I really love that. I really love that. So if you guys are joining us live and you're here with us, we have taken a little bit of a divergent path from our original plan for today, but we're going to get back on track now. We're talking about GoGoCharlie. And Sasha's given us some fantastic advice for creating your own business and doing that from the beginning in a way that will help you achieve success. So if you're watching the recording, the replay, let us know. Let us know where you guys are from. Michelle, it's so good to have you with us. All right, so Sasha, please tell us about GoGoCharlie.
So GoGoCharlie, PT Home Programs for Pets, is a web-based software that physios and veterinarians can use to email their clients video-based home exercises. As a human physio, it's part of practice to complete your treatments for the day, to go onto the computer, build a home program, email the home program, print a hard copy, and then you're done for the day. When I started in canine rehab, it didn't exist. And so I started, the technology wasn't there yet. So I started this home exercise hard copy book. And this had over 200 exercises in it. And then I teamed up with a human company that does human home exercise programs, Physiotech. And we said, let's build a really nice animal platform. So it started out as canine home exercises. And canine home exercises was a beta test project. Basically, we loaded 250 exercises into the web-based software. We had you guys as an audience use it. You reflected back to us what's working, what's not working, how can we make it better? And then starting 2 years ago, I began to make the nuanced changes inside the platform that became GoGoCharlie earlier this year. So GoGoCharlie is a rebrand of canine home exercises. It has more than twice as many exercises in it. The exercises all include videos, written instructions, exercise trackers. Most importantly, you guys as the rehab therapist can modify basically everything in there. So you can also add your own exercises in there. So it's a really robust system. The purpose is to make your life easy. At university, we see more than 20 patients a day. We use GoGoCharlie for every one of those patients, and it saves us more than an hour of labor every day. So if you're feeling in your clinic like, oh, I'm still doing paperwork at the end of the day, GoGoCharlie can really help you streamline that. So you're not doing paperwork at the end of the day. You're going home and spending time with your friends and your family and going to yoga and having a life. That's the whole purpose of the software.
I love that. Let's have a little bit of a life. I like that. So please tell us about the rebrand, because there must be a story behind the name GoGoCharlie and why you chose to do a rebrand.
When I started out, the name Canine Home Exercises, it's called Call It What It Is. And you all probably understand this, right? It was only dogs. It was only home exercises. So the name was perfect for a beta test project. But what you all asked for was, hey, Sash, cats have needs too. We need cat therapy. And then people reached out and said, well, gosh, we also need parrot therapy. And then people reached out and said, what do I do with a turtle who can't ambulate? So as you, as users of canine home exercises, reflected back to me your needs, all of a sudden it wasn't canine anymore, but it was all animals. So it needed a rebrand for that reason. And then the other parts were, you all were starting to ask for treatments. So, hey, Sash, can you please add modified stretches, for example? Can you please add some different modalities, including laser and electrical stim, things that we don't commonly send home with clients, but that you want in your clinic? And so it wasn't home exercises anymore either.
Okay.
So we needed a rebrand. And then here's where it becomes personal. Oh my goodness. You're not supposed to have favorites in therapy, right? You're supposed to love them all equally. But the truth of the matter is, my very first favorite dog, his name is Charlie. Charlie is in the first version, Canine Home Exercise. He's the German Shepherd dog. He has bilateral gracilis myopathies. He's also had a TPLO. He's got a soul, you guys. Charlie comes in and he's got these soulful eyes, and I was in love with Charlie. So that name, Charlie, was high on the list. And then my second favorite dog also is named Charlie. Small Chuck, and Small Chuck has just been posted to Facebook and Instagram. So you guys can see a picture of Small Chuck. He's literally this big. He's a Chihuahua. He has every neurological problem you can think of, from Chiari malformations to T3L3 myelopathy. He has carpus hyperextension. He's a mess, and I love him. So the name Charlie, it's, again, from the heart. If it's not from the heart, you're not going to have the stamina to do it for your full life. So Charlie was in there. And then we needed something fun and active, something that had a rhythm. And so messed around for a couple years with different names, and GoGoCharlie was the one that felt right. It resonated in the right way. So it was GoGoCharlie. And then the dog that is in the logo, his name is Harley. So that's very similar to Charlie. Harley's also in Canine Home Exercises, and he is the dog of Mamie Whitman. He's since gone on to dog heaven, but he was one of our original dogs. And so it's really, it feels like honoring the animals that have made it happen, to choose the name Charlie and to choose the symbol for GoGoCharlie to be the dog of a dear, dear friend, but also a dog that's really helped other dogs. He was a dog professor. He was a really good dog professor. And then he also demonstrated exercises for smaller dogs in a way that we can still use all those videos. So that's how it happened.
No, I love that. That's very, that, like you say, very personal. And we do have favorites. We do.
I know.
We do. Don't tell anyone. All right, so Olivia, welcome. It's great to have you join us. So Olivia says she's actually tried to get in touch with you to use GoGoCharlie, but hasn't managed to do that. So I'm going to leave Olivia. Sasha can get in touch with you after the live. Or is there a better way for her to get in touch with you? How should people get in touch with you?
Oh, it's very easy. If you go to the website, and you probably already filled out the form, Olivia, is that how you tried to reach us? The other really good way to reach us is just to call in. So the phone number, if you go to GoGoCharlie.com, the phone number is right up there at the top. You can just call in and talk to one of the customer service representatives, and they can get you in. If you send us an email or a form from the website, we'll still reach back to you. It just takes a few days because we get a lot of people coming in through email. So if you want a quicker response time, just pick up the telephone.
Awesome. Okay, so I've popped the website, GoGoCharlie.com, in the comments for you guys. So you can go find all the contact information there. I love that.
Thank you.
So let's talk a little bit about, can you tell us about some of the features within GoGoCharlie? Because I think it's very helpful to be able to give your owners their home exercises and do a few other things in one program. So what are the things that GoGoCharlie allows you to do?
So home exercises individually selected. A really important feature is templates. So as new rehabbers, one of the hardest things to do is to know which home exercises are appropriate for which phase of recovery. So there are templates in GoGoCharlie for acute, subacute, and chronic phases of recovery for your most common things that you're going to find in clinic. All you have to do is go to the template tab, scroll down, click on the button. It opens the home program for you, and then you can modify it if you want to. So templates are really great. The other thing that is a new feature is documents. Here's how we use documents. You can attach a document to a client's name, for example. Let's say the client has 3 dogs, and one of their dogs has had a TPLO, and you want to add a flyer about TPLO. You can simply attach it, and then it will show up in the client's portal. The other way that we use documents is if we have notes that we want to send with the clients, we can just attach the note to the home program and it all shows up on the same place.
Okay.
So these are features that simplify your communications with clients. Another one that improves client compliance is the exercise tracker. We have really nice evidence in humans that if you actually write down what you're doing, your compliance rate goes up. So you can create an exercise tracker automatically with every home program that you build, and you can customize it. You can choose difficulty, you can choose reps, you can choose how long they hold. You can also leave a section for notes. So if client, say, lives 4 hours away, they can leave you notes and say, hey, Sasha, I tried this exercise, it was too hard. From clinic, I can simply change the exercise and it shows up in their portal. So really streamlined. And then there are these fun additional things that we use at university that can super streamline your practice. We've actually put the link to our scheduler as an exercise card. So, one of the hardest things with clients is you're going to schedule 8 visits. And to have somebody on the telephone scheduling 8 visits, that takes a lot of time. So we use Acuity Scheduler. We copy and paste the link into our own exercise card, and then the client schedule from home. So we no longer have to be on the phone with a client for 15 minutes scheduling out 8 visits. They do it automatically in their own time, and then we just put it on the schedule.
Yay, I love that.
We love it too.
So what does it look like from the client side? If you send them these things, what do they receive, and what does that look like to them?
The client receives an email, and it will have the name of your clinic at the top, because all of this, although we call it GoGoCharlie, as soon as you subscribe, the GoGoCharlie drops away and your business is now on the top of those home programs. So it's branded to your business. So it will have your business's name in the email. The clients open the email, create a username and password, and then that takes them to their portal. From their portal, there's a little blue down arrow, and they'll be able to press that arrow and see their current home program and every other home program you've ever prescribed for them.
Oh, wow.
So what's nice about this is clients will say, oh, hey, can I go back and do the exercises I did last time just for fun? My dog really liked those sidestepping exercises. He likes cavaletti figure eights. Can I continue? Yes, you may. And they already have it, so you don't even have to send it to them again. It's in their drop-down menu.
Okay, that's really convenient. Do they ever have issues with logging in? Is it easier to have it for them in a portal versus a document that they print out and have next to them? How are clients kind of feeling about that difference?
We have to feel the clients out when we're doing their discharge. So we have clients who range the full gamut, right? So I'll say that we have a client who's has a lot of visual impairment. The online version doesn't work for her at all. So we can print out specific types of home exercises. So one of them in the print version, you can print out huge type, like 20 point, 24 point type.
Wow.
So she can read her home program, right? So for her, we do print only. It's going to be saved electronically anyway, but for some clients, our younger clientele, they're like, don't waste a tree. I'm just going to use the online version. And some clients want both. What we do for our, we call it affectionately Flab to Fab, but it's the Integrative Weight Management Program. In there, we have specific amounts of food they eat, exercises they do. For those dogs, we print a hard copy of the exercise tracker so they can put it on their refrigerator and make sure they're not giving their dog a cup and a half of food, but only 1 cup of food. And those kind of things help improve compliance.
Okay, I love it. I love that you kind of worked owner compliance into this and how you can, because that's what it's about, right? It's about the best ways we can serve our clients.
Yeah.
I like that. All right, so what, from a creation business perspective, what went into creating GoGoCharlie? Because I think that a lot of us might be sitting in a space where we're considering creating that online business, creating some online products. And again, there can be a really big difference in our perception of what we need to do to make it happen and that reality. And so I love asking people who have gone this way, what actually went into it? What were the biggest challenges? And kind of how can we help guide future business owners to follow in our footsteps?
Yeah,
so
I
will
love
you
this
walk us
question.
through that a little bit?
Yeah, it's a great question because there's so many resources that we still need in the market, you guys. I think sometimes when we enter the market, we think to ourselves, oh, everybody's already done everything. But no, not even close. We have so many needs in the market that there's plenty of space for everyone. For the creation of not just GoGoCharlie, but my other products as well, there's approximately a 2-year lead time to the product hitting the market. So what this means is you start with a concept phase. So for me, it was going from my hard copy book to a web-based software. You have to first conceptualize that. Then you need to build the team around it, meaning finding the right software team. For me, finding a video studio, finding a videographer. And then you need to build the legal mechanisms around it to protect what you're building. That's the part that people get nervous about. It's very expensive to pay for legal protections, but it's even more expensive to invest a lot of money and time only to have somebody else take your idea years down the road. Okay. So building the legal protections around it. Then once you have that stuff done, then you actually go into production. So for GoGoCharlie, what it looks like is it looks like a big mess, basically. On a giant spreadsheet, we type in all of the exercises that we're going to film. Then the software company, Physiotech, goes in and fills in exercise numbers. And that exercise number and exercise name are forever married. So you cannot undo these details that start to happen now. Then from there, we have to make shoot sheets. So basically, we print out sheets that we take onto the studio set. I rent a studio set, rent the big fancy cameras and all the equipment that is required, lighting, etc. And then it's a matter of training the people who are going to be working with the animals on set. So I first send them the list and say, here are the exercises. Which ones do you feel comfortable doing? The ones they don't feel comfortable doing, that's where you'll see me on set. I don't like to be on set. I try not to do it ever, but that's how that happens. Then you have to get the right animals. So for us, we had a really good friend, Deb, has done enrollment of animals into online TV commercials. So I reached out to Deb and said, hey, we're doing our next video shoot. We need birds, turtles, hedgehogs, dogs, cats. So she put out her call. This is, again, right, building a team. I don't know how to find a hedgehog who wants to go on the software, but Deb knows. So Deb basically filled up all of those slots for us. And then a thing that I learned the very first, so I think we've done 4 video shoots now, is we have to have a really tight closed set when we're filming this. Everybody wants to come watch because it's so novel and it's so interesting. It is so hard to film the animals in a relaxed, positive, operant conditioned state if there's an audience. So we basically then close or lock the set. We literally lock the doors when we're filming, and we film the animals. So in our big timeline of 2 years to hit the market, that timeline is about 9 months in. Okay, 9 months to a year into the process. And it's very expensive, right? You haven't made any money yet off of this. You're not anticipating making any money for another year or 2. So then the next part becomes coming back to my desk and doing post-production, taking the videos that we've shot, cutting them into beautiful little pieces, adding the arrows, adding the exercise descriptions. That process takes approximately 6 months to do a video shoot. And then we hit publish. And then once it's published, we still have to do sorting and filtering so that when you as the rehabbers come into the software, it's organized in a way that it's easy for you to use. And then we also have to have the language in there so the end user client understands what we're talking about, right? We can't say cranial and caudal to our clients that know what this means. We have to say front and back. So it's a lot of steps. It's a lot of steps. And it takes about 2 years to go from that point to the end point, which is why you got to have the heart in there. You got to absolutely love what you do, because there are going to be some Sunday mornings when you would rather be jogging or doing yoga or whatever it is you love to do, and you are going to be at your computer instead. But ultimately what ends up happening is you develop a product that has heart, meets the needs of the market. And for me, most importantly, is always kind and positive for the pets that are on the video shoots.
That's, if you ask me how that sounds terrifying. That sounds terrifying, right? It's like the idea that it's years of work with no, there's no return in the beginning. It's just work. And I can see how having a really solid plan will help with that process, because you need to hold on to the end to be able to get through all the steps in the beginning, because it is such a long time. I can see how it would be really easy to lose faith, to lose steam, to just lose momentum, because you lose sight of what you're doing, what your end goal is. So that feels really scary to me if I think about how that looked for you. What advice would you give to someone who's kind of standing at the beginning and getting ready to take the leap and get started?
Don't choose a GoGoCharlie level project as your first project. Really. I mean, we talked about my 20-year business plan. So part of the
Yeah.
20-year business plan is building structure in the beginning of your business so that you're going to have a stable income. You have to meet that threshold before you can do visionary things. Unless you have someone who can financially support you through it, then you could certainly do a visionary thing out of the gate. But if you're like me and you're self-supporting, I had to build a business structure that was stable first. And then once I had a stable platform, then I could move on to the next project, which is, I think, where sometimes we accidentally fail too, right? Let's just talk about building a clinical practice. Building a clinical practice, the things we love as the rehabbers, right, are working with the animals, working with the clients, seeing the outcomes. What we don't love to do is sit down and really get granular about what's my price point? How can I make extra passive income? How can I do seminars or other things that bring me passive income? Those are the really important things when we start, is taking the time to, do you have the right price point? If you just charge 25 more, will it make you profitable instead of breaking even? And then always building into any business plan 15% of loss. Just assume that you are 15% incorrect right out of the gate so that you don't end up being 15% in the hole at the end of the year. That part, you guys can get support from any business group anywhere in the world to do what I just talked about. There are small business development centers. You guys as OPH do a great job of teaching people, like, how do you start your business and what does it look like? What are the steps and what's the marketing? So tap into those resources to get started. And then if you have a visionary idea, definitely build it into your plan. Don't say I can't do it. Say maybe now is not the right time, but I'm still going to hold that vision because I'm really excited about that thing.
Yeah, I think that you have just hit the nail on the head. So many of us are standing here with an idea and we want to go into this online space, but we want to do it because we are not financially stable where we are. So we're trying to look for that next thing to earn an income. And this is not the way necessarily. It depends on your specific, what you're doing. But if you're running a rehab practice, it should be profitable first, and then you go to the next thing. If you're sitting where your primary business is not profitable, you have a different problem that you need to solve first, and then you go into that next phase. I really love that. That's something that's actually come up in conversation with Meg in the last few weeks, because she's been doing a lot of work supporting rehabbers to create online streams of income. So I think that's really important. Thank you. Just highlight that, guys, for yourself. If that's where you're standing, is your primary business first on its own stable and where it needs to be, or do you need to fix some foundational gaps first before moving on to the next phase? I love that.
And I think the important part of that, just real quick on, is that building profitability in your business is a skill. So I don't want people to at all feel like I'm putting any negative pressure on them at all. What I want to be saying to people is, learning how to build a profitable business is really learning about valuing who you are and what you bring to the market, and then putting it at a price point that really says, I'm an amazing rehabber, right? That's the part I think we sometimes have a hard time with. So please understand what I'm saying is it's a skill. Building profitability is a skill. And there are places you can go to get that, including OPH. And then once you have the building profitability skill, then you can basically go do anything.
I like that. It's a skill. It means that if you can't do that right now, you can learn it. And that's really important.
Absolutely, you can learn it.
Yeah, because I think that's a big weakness for us. I've been processing the data from the veterinary Rehabilitation Industry Report, Global Industry Report. And one of the massive challenges that people highlighted in the industry report is exactly that, is that we don't have enough income, and they're struggling financially, and they're reliant on a partner financially, and that has been the situation for many, many years. And so there's, that is definitely something we need to shift, that we need to shift in our industry.
And there are places where we have figured out what a profitable business model is. You can take CRI's business course. They talk a lot about a profitable business model. Francisco Maya, who you guys know well, also has a profitable business model. For us at university, even though we're at university, we are like tiny small businesses. We are profitable, and we have a profitable business model. So they're out there, right? The models that actually produce sustainable rehab income. It's finding where those resources are and then building that into your own business.
I love that. And VROMP. I think VROMP would be another resource that people can also look at. So there are a lot of options actually. If this is something you're struggling with, those are the places to go. Reach out to us if you need further direction and guidance, and we're going to point you in the right direction. So just ask for help. That's it. Ask for help, and we'll help guide you. All right. So we've given people the website for GoGoCharlie. If there are any other questions around GoGoCharlie, let us know, because it's really exciting. It's really great to have these kinds of resources at our fingertips to make our lives so much easier, to improve owner compliance. And that, in the end, is what's going to make the difference to the outcomes in our patients. Because, again, we can be as magic as we want. If our owners are not following through on a day-to-day basis, it really means nothing. So that is really the important part. Sasha, are you going to be joining us at the Vet Rehab Summit? I will.
I will be joining you. Also, my mother will be in town, so she will be joining us. My cute mother from the mountains is going to be in town. She's 82 years old, and she wants to see what we're all about. So she's going to be joining us too. She won't know anything we're talking about, but it's still going to be fantastic.
Oh my gosh, I love it. You're actually not the first person who is going to have a little Vet Rehab Summit party. I'm going to just call it that between you and your mom. But yes, I really want to encourage you guys, like, if you have you have a practice and you're working with partners, just have a party, man, and come watch the summit all together, wherever you want to do that. If it's at someone's house or in the practice, have a summit conference in your backyard. Okay, watch it together. I think that's going to be so cool this year. So what are you looking forward to learning at the summit this year? Like, is the topic exciting to you? Are you looking forward to what we're actually going to be learning?
I can't tell you guys how, at university, we are so hardcore, evidence-based, this is the way we do it, that when I get to come to these continuing education classes that are really teaching us like myofascial connections and how does this work in the body and what do we think how does this affect movement? And I mean, I just get really excited about this, because for us, when we don't have hardcore double-blind crossover studies, right? we don't do this much. So am I excited? Heck yes, I'm excited. I can't wait to learn something new.
That's awesome. I'm going to put you on the spot with another question, because this has actually come up a lot in conversations for me as well. Do you think the myofascial kinetic lines are actually relevant for us in clinic? Because, I mean, we work with the fascia every day, right? So how does this change anything? Do you think it's actually relevant?
I do. I have a really interesting case example. Our resident last year, young Kim, who is now running a practice in Australia, she was working with a case that had a left thoracic limb and right pelvic limb dysfunction. And we had tried all of our regular skill set things to improve individually the connection between this left front limb and this right pelvic limb. And I just said on a whim, hey, what do you think about if we do myofascial release to see if that doesn't help us with this problem that we're having? And we could see with our eyes that when we did the myofascial release across the spine, that dysfunction improved in her hands. So
Wow.
have I seen it work? Yes, I've seen it work. Do I know why? I don't know why, but I'm psyched to see if someone else has figured it out, because we do myofascial work all the time. And I really believe, I mean, it's like in humans, right? When you go take a human physio course and they have you do something simple like skin roll the hamstrings, people can magically then touch their toes. So there has to be a connection. I think it's a really good idea to bring it to the forefront of our minds and help us think about it in a new and refreshed way that might change our practice. I think that sounds delicious.
Sasha, thank you. I completely put you on the spot there, and I love the answer that you gave. For me, what it comes down to is whenever we can change our perspective, that is a great thing, because it means we can put on some different lenses to see our patients in a different light, which is very, very valuable. So I'm excited. And the other thing that it is for me is anatomy. And yes. I just, when that clicked into place, I was like, we spend the entire, probably half of our studies focusing on anatomy, literally focusing on anatomy. And if our perception of, origin, insertion, function, lever, etc., if that's not the whole picture, how much are we missing with our patients, right? Because that's the foundation that we're building everything on, is our anatomy. So that's what I'm excited about.
Yeah, cool. I love that one too. We can never know enough about anatomy. It's an endless book of knowledge.
It's endless. And we forget as well. When we're in practice, we forget, because we're focusing on what we're feeling, and we're not necessarily focusing on the specific thing we're touching, right? Yes. So yes. I love that. Thank you. I think one more question. You have a special offer for our online pet health members to sign up to GoGoCharlie. So do you want to tell them more about that and how they can access that? Well, what the special offer is, and then I'll tell them how to access it.
Yeah, so we have a special offer for you, and then how do I say, a special offer plus? If you go to the website, GoGoCharlie.com, you'll see it says OPH Vet Summit. And if you click on that, what I'm offering right now is a free copy of the treatment protocol book. And in addition to getting a free trial of GoGoCharlie and a 50% promo discount if you choose. So basically, I'm redoing all of my books. And so since I'm redoing all of my books, I'm offering the favorite book on the market to OPH people in return for you guys jumping into GoGoCharlie and trying it out. And then please know, if there's something you want changed, if there's an exercise you want added, simply email us. This is what we do. We give you what you need for your practice.
Oh my gosh, I love that. Okay, so if you guys are not excited, or if you weren't excited a minute ago, you're excited now. Sasha, thank you so much for your time this morning. I hope you have an incredible day ahead of you. And thank you for your support for the summit and for online pet health. We love working with you. And we're really excited for GoGoCharlie. So thank you.
Thank you. It's nice to spend time with you.
Absolutely. Have a great day, everyone.
Bye-bye.